One second. All right, mic check. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir, we're hearing you.
All right. I'll pause the share. Okay. Welcome to Advanced Computing 2. First, I should say welcome to 2025. I see we have 11 persons here. So you guys have a class WhatsApp, right? Just in case not everybody got the my email. Do you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Ah, all right. So you can just message everyone there, just in case for those who didn't get the email. All right, guys. I see some familiar faces. I think from DDM days. Was that the last time I saw some people here? Am I right? Godfrey, how you doing? You here?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, man. From DDM days is the last time I see you, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Okay. Well, is there... Yeah, man, everybody here is supposed to know me. Is there anybody here that's seen me for the first time? Give me a thumbs up emoji if you're seeing me for the first time. No? No thumbs up? All right. No, hold on a minute. I would have seen you guys a couple weeks ago in Advanced Computing 1 when we were having the makeup classes. Isn't that so?
Yes, sir, we saw you there too.
Oh, you see, from my point of view, everything is jumbled, Firstly, I have gray hair. You can't really see it on the video. And B, there's just a lot of classes and modules kind of jumbled in my head. So I was trying to establish a point of reference. So everybody here done used to me already. No need for introductions. Other than to introduce you to the funnest module you have ever done, right? And to also introduce you to stuff that you probably knew already. So as usual, I'm gonna get things started off by talking about computing as a whole. It's that broad and kind of narrow our way down. And that's how we'll tackle the introduction. And then I know I will get very used to you guys through discussions and assignments that will happen. All right. So, first order of business. Let me just find this tab amongst my many tabs that I have. Here you are. Okay. Put this over here. And let's put this over here. Okay. Can you guys see my screen okay? right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
All right, cool. Let me find where you are. You all went through this already. And we are here. Yes, advanced computing 2. All right. So you guys did advanced computing 1 last semester. Which was a little exciting. I guess we could use that word, exciting. What do you say, Kemai? Was it exciting? Or was it just survivable? Here, Kemai?
Sir, I can't hear you. Could you just repeat that?
Oh, you can't hear me?
Sir, I wasn't hearing you.
Okay. I was asking, how was advanced computing 1? Was it exciting or survivable? This is
Sir,
totally.
I think this is a very complicated topic right now.
Okay. All right. Well, for advanced computing 2, it's not usually described as survivable. Hopefully not described as complicated. I challenge you guys to have fun during this module, right? And the reason I said that is because we're going to watch movies, make movies, and play video games. How does that sound to you for a module?
Too good to be true, sir.
Is there anybody here who don't believe me? Oakley, you believe me? You believe that that's what we're going to do in this module? Are you here, Oakley? Okay. I'm going to start with... I'm not going to start with that slide. I'm going to start with another slide. That one is a little too specific. Start with this one. 24, 25. Aha, found it. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Oops. What did I do with it? Minimized it. All right, welcome to 2025. You guys remember the stairs? I usually start off by kind of knowing where we come from. Does this look familiar, Kimani?
Yes, sir.
All right. How do you guys feel that you are at the top of the step, the last step before you jump off? I don't know if you recognize the whole analogy with this step thing, you know. I mean, we started from here, right? This is somebody. Okay, let me do a little better architecturally. That's somebody. So we started from DDM, and in DDM we learned about Photoshop and Illustrator and SketchUp and all of this great stuff, right? I hope it still is within everybody's brain. Then we jumped on to DDA, or I think it's still CAD on your student portal. But regardless, what we learned in there was how to document architectural drawings. So we are supposed to learn things like annotations and dimensions and what the architectural symbols are and all that stuff. So that's what you did here when you went to the second step. Then y'all did 3D modeling. Who did you do 3D modeling with?
You, sir.
Miss Bradshaw.
It was me?
No, Miss Bradshaw.
Ah, okay. Was Tamara Bradshaw. Right. So and I think Suzette Adams came in at some point during the semester, if memory serves me right. So when you went there, you learned how to now model in BIM, in a BIM environment, to do things like manipulate objects in 3D. We also learned rendering, all right? Hope you guys remember that. Some of you would have done Lumion, some would have done Twin Motion, and you did a little animation. Then we went on to BIM. I think you guys would have had Miss Matandara, right? Who is no longer with us. But I think you guys would have been her last class, maybe, I think, right? So in that module, you learned how to also model, but in a AEC environment, in a BIM environment, meaning that you learned how to use the wall tool, the window tool, how to use the deeper features of Revit. For example, to deal with how you show your line weight and elevations and sections and stuff like that. So that was a deep dive into Revit. As a matter of fact, speaking of Revit, and last year is when you did a measured survey and the advanced visualization techniques, right? I believe we had to kind of customize it for your situation. So you guys would have done 2 visualization techniques. So that is learning how to combine all of the stuff that you've learned over the years into this module to learn how you put something together based on an objective. So some of you would have to combine using Photoshop or SketchUp or Revit. How do we take things from the different software and put it together to get an objective? And the whole point of that exercise was so that you're not bound to just one program, right? But you hopefully would have explored other programs and learned how you take from it what that program is good at. The other half of that, you did a measured survey, right? Would have been in Sculpture Park. And ideally, you would have done that in a BIM environment. Anybody here had finished their drawings? Yeah, everybody here finished their drawings in Revit, right? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Did anybody manage to do it to use the collaboration features in Revit? Anybody got that far?
No, sir, we didn't do a collaboration.
Okay.
So I feel like we find it easier to just like send files to each other because the collaboration is a bit complicated.
Yes, that is true. And guess what? This time around, I'm going to take another swing at it. So I'm taking over the module BIM. Actually, I mean, I've taught it many times. There are multiple lecturers in computing, so we kind of switch around depending on the schedule. So I'm going to take another swing at it this time around. I know that it can be complicated, but guess what? You guys are going to use that feature when you go off. I get calls about it all the time from different firms. That is the way the industry is moving. So speaking of that, your entire BIM journey would have taken place from second year, starting in CAD, through 3D modeling, BIM, and then the last thing you would have done in BIM would have been Advanced Computing 1. So there is no more BIM, there's no more Revit after Advanced Computing 1, and the idea is that hopefully you have gotten all the info you need during those steps of doing BIM. Now you're at the last step. And I always joke that the analogy of this is that you're at the last step, so now is when you jump off into the abyss of your career, right? So at this last step, we're going to be doing something a little interesting. We're going to be doing stuff that is not exactly within architecture. So what we're going to be doing is looking at industries outside of architecture, and then we're going to see how we can apply, I would say, the best of those worlds to help us to represent architecture. And this is why I said that we're going to be doing movies and films, well, same thing, and looking at things outside of the realm of architecture, right? So that's why it's going to be pretty cool and pretty exciting. We won't be doing, drawings or modeling. We will be messing with 3D models, but we also will be messing with some dangerous stuff as well, right? Like AI, right? Hopefully we can get to mess with VR. In the past, we usually do a little activity, but it requires some coordination. So we'll see. We're going to be messing with photography as well, film, all of these things. And from each one of these things, we're going to take what we learn from them and try and make it advantageous in the field of architecture. So that is what we're all about in this module. But in a way, it's kind of looking what is outside, and hopefully you guys can learn about it as you are on your way out, right? I can bet it feels nice to be at the last step. Do you remember when you was, who here remember in DDM when I point out this step to you and you were all the way down here? Anybody? Anybody? Nobody don't remember this diagram? It was just like yesterday, don't it? Anybody want to start over? No? Yes? Silence is consenting. What? You all would want to start over? Wow. You all love computing.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm wishing you guys all the best as you step out. The most that I can do is let you have some enjoyment on your way out. All right, so on to other business. Some of this stuff you know already. This module is going to be 100% online. We're going to be using the module website, right? Most of you are familiar with that already. Let me bring it up. Well, you would have gone to the website to click on the meeting link, so I guess you would have seen it already. Oh no, this is not you. Advanced Computing 2. Right, this is you. Or rather, this is us. All right. Okay, let us continue. Where are we? We are here. Okay, all work will be submitted via forms. You know my style already. Of course, a Google account is required because that's where you upload the files. Camera is to be used whenever you're speaking, right? I don't necessarily require it all the time, though I think it would be great to understand there are bandwidth challenges, so I would say it is recommended, right? Where can I find this thing? Yes, it is recommended. Though I must say I feel a little lonely being the only person that has on the camera. So whenever we're doing presentations, it will be mandatory. Class attendance. Well, Actually, I kind of updated this. I have an interesting way of doing attendance. So, for example, instead of saying like, Maken, and you say, here, sir. And I say, Rachel, and you say, here, sir. And so forth. Instead, I will just ask a question. Like I would say, so Samantha, how was BIM, not BIM, Advanced Computing 1 last year? And then I would wait for Samantha to answer. Still waiting. Samantha? Is Samantha there? No? Okay, let's try it. I know that Maken is here. Kimani.
Yes, sir.
Oh, what? Hold on. Who was that? Was that Samantha? You found you? Did you reach? No. Okay. Who was I saying again? Kimani. Right. You said yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So then, when I ask you this question and you answer, then I say, "Oh, okay. Kimani is here," and I can mark Kimani present. So I'm not gonna take a register, the traditional way of taking a register. I like to just throw random questions out and ask you randomly. And then if you answer, that means you're here. If you don't answer, that means you're not here, don't it? That's fair. Isn't that fair?
Yes, sir.
So you need to look out for those questions. Now that is different from class participation, right? How I normally do participation is I just give out random class activities. Some of them might be just very insignificant. Like I might say, okay, guys, today we're gonna find a picture on YouTube and stick it on the digital board. And if you find a picture and put it on the digital board, that means that you have participated, and hence you get a participation grade, right? So these activities are random throughout the semester. The same thing we did in DDM. Do you remember? Let me see. I saw you guys in DDM. I think that was the last time I saw you guys. Right. So that's the same thing. Usually when I do my modules, we do some class activities. And the trick about them is that they are random, right? Hence the word ad hoc. So you might come today, and today we might just be doing an activity, or we might not. The only way to get that percentage point is to make sure you're in class. All right? Right, Taji? Not you. Taji? Oakley?
Yes, sir.
Ah, right? Correct?
Repeat the question, sir.
So that is how we get the participation grade, by just coming to class, and if you happen to be here when we do the random class activity, then you get the participation grade, right?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Right. Plus you're also marked present because I asked you a question and you answered. So do you see how both things are tied together? Right? And that is how we do things here. All right. Did anybody get an email inviting you to a Zoom chat? Anybody? No?
No, sir.
Hold on, you got an email about class today?
I didn't.
Sir, not everyone got the email.
I know,
I
right?
encrypted the email.
No, I haven't gotten a
And
class.
then also,
Mhm.
sir, when some of us tried opening the email, it was coming up like encrypted.
To do that, you'll need to be online.
Encrypted.
So it was just coming up as text and numbers, like numbers and letters.
Okay.
If you didn't,
So I had to open it on my laptop. So
Oh, you're opening it on your phone?
yeah, no, yeah. So it was, but
Yeah, but
normally,
it shouldn't matter. Like
I
I
don't know.
think,
For some reason, it wasn't. I'm not the only one though. Some
yeah,
people
yeah,
still.
yeah, yeah. I need to figure out why. I think no, it's not this one. Okay, I'm gonna check. Anyway, here is the main thing. So the Zoom chat will be basically our WhatsApp, right? But we won't be using WhatsApp. So it's the same username that you use to sign in for Zoom classes. So most of you have Zoom on your phone or Zoom on your laptop or whatever. It's the same email, or it's the same system that we use to talk when we're not in class. So if you want to message me, ask me something about the assignment, preferably not in the middle of the night, but just saying, if we don't have a class and you need to message me, you just message me in the chat, right? And this is how I used to. Did I do this with you in DDM? Maybe not. I don't remember.
No, 3D.
Was 3DM. Okay, right. So that is how we'll do it. We'll it's basically just like WhatsApp. If you install Zoom to your phone, and it's the exact same Zoom that we use for class. So it's not like you have to do like an extra step. Right. Sorry, it's not like you have to do like an extra step to for this. And that way you'll be able to reach out to me. And I'll do my best to answer. Now, in order for me to do that, of course, I need to have everybody's name and email address. So while one of the things that we're going to do today is we're going to sign up for the class website, the same thing that we do every semester. This is how I get your name and all of that so that I can put it in my grading sheet, which is the grading sheet that you go to see your grades, and also so that I can send you an invite to the Zoom chat. All right. And to do that, you go to the class website. So let me just give you the URL for those of you that didn't see the email. Here we go. So I'm going to copy this. Now that email also says that there's a password. Sometimes we enable it, sometimes we don't. It depends on what's happening in the semester. So if you ever come to the website and you see a password, it's AC2 2024, all common. It's in the email as well. But don't worry, we don't have passwords, so we should be good. I'm going to just paste this here. All right, so it's now in the meeting chat. So when you go to the website, you just click this class registration tab right here. And it's pretty straightforward. You just choose the year, which there's only one. Choose the module, your name, contact information, and all of that. And that is what you do now at the beginning. And then I will have your information and I will send you a Zoom chat invite, and we'll do that today during class. So I want you guys to sign up right now so that I will get your information. I can add you. We can message each other if anything. If there's anything that come up, any emergency, you understand? I may not be able to get to the phone directly or maybe speak, maybe in a meeting or something. You can message me. So our official messaging app will be Zoom Chat. All right. Y'all are familiar with the class website already. This is where you will go to submit all your work and stuff like that. One of the most important things that you will see me refer to again and again is the timeline, right? So we're going to go through that today because this is going to be our guiding star throughout the module. So we know exactly how long something should be, when something is due. All of that is on this timeline at the top. All right. And we do have a study tour. So, we need to navigate very efficiently so that I am out of your hair by week 11. That's what we're aiming for, right? I want to see if I can give you guys the gift of freedom in the last 2 weeks. You can work on your design studio and all of that stuff. You don't have to worry about advanced computing tool. So we'll talk about that. All right, let's go back here. So that's the class website. You are used to this portal already because I do believe you submit your studio stuff on this portal as well. All right, so you're going to send all emails. If you want to email me, you send it to my UTech email, which is brian.williams@utech.edu.jm. I'll also put that in the Zoom chat. All right. We're going to be using Zoom, not Google Meet. And of course, I told you this already. All of you need to register on the class website. As per usual, we're going to have our recordings available. So if you remember from last time, where you go for your recordings is right. So on the class website, you just go up the top to the big red button that says class recordings. You can't miss it. And there we go. Head down to Advanced Computing 2. And and you're not going to see it yet because obviously this is the first class, so it hasn't been created yet. So you're going to see 24, 25. And when you go into that now, you will see all the class recordings. All right. So you can access all the recordings anytime you want, pretty much. For technical support, for those of you that will have computer problems, our official tool that we use for that is AnyDesk, which is a free tool. So for example, if you're trying to do something on the software giving trouble, we might use this so that maybe I can tweak the computer directly, or so that any technician can access the computer. Of course, Zoom can do this as well, but if we're not in Zoom, then that would be the weapon of choice. And as usual, we'll be using our digital whiteboard from Miro, right? Which is on the class website, which you guys are already familiar with. Oh, that is here. Yep. Oops, no, not here. It's here. Yeah. Right. And that's the link here. Okay. Of course, the class links are there. Speaking of classes, the biggest, I think, thing to discuss is that one of my classes usually ends up on a Saturday, right? That's how it always is. This time around, it will be Advanced Computing 2. So this is the Wednesday class. So there will be no classes on Wednesday. It will be at 6 o'clock on Saturday. That will be the practical classes, right? Everybody got it?
Wait, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You said no class on Wednesday?
No classes on Wednesday, right? This
Adventist.
Yeah, but it's sunset, 6 o'clock, right?
Oh, 6. Okay.
Right. So, yes, I know. This is usually an issue, a clash with UTech and my courses. I don't know if DDM was like that. I think DDM was like that at one point. But based on my schedule, I teach a lot of computing courses, so at least one of them always end up on Saturday. And this time around, it will be that one. The good thing is at 6. The good thing is that this module is not what do you call it now? It is not a heavy module for practical work. Meaning that whereas with Advanced Computing 1, you're doing a measured survey. With BIM, you have a major project. With 3D modeling, you have a major project. this module doesn't have that kind of structure where we're learning the intricacies of a software per se. Instead, it's a little bit more, what's the word? Open. So we're going to be doing things like photography and a little bit of video editing and stuff like that. So we will have some amount of tutorials, but most of the assignments in this module, you can use pretty much whatever software you want to use, right? And we always tend to try and experiment with new software in this module. So it's you don't get anything like an architectural drawing where you have to be super accurate. So therefore you have to use like a program that you know inside and out, and we have to get all technical. What we're doing here is we're focusing more on the art and creative and experimental part of architecture. So the practical sessions won't be heavy duty, right? And we're gonna run through the timeline in just a bit, so you will see what I mean, right? But that is the biggest thing in terms of the schedule. And yeah, let's see, where was I? I was here, right? So I was just talking about the mirror, and then we talked about schedule. Okay, now as usual, you can use your own computers, or you can use the computers in the lab. Software for this module is pretty open, so it's not as if, you know, we're doing Revit and you must have Revit installed. As a matter of fact, I don't even think you're going to be using Revit in this module any at all, right? So you're definitely going to need the Adobe suites at some point. Photoshop, Illustrator, especially at the beginning. Usually between Photoshop, Illustrator, some of you might use Infinity. I can't remember the name of that program. Anybody use anything apart from Photoshop here? Anybody? No?
Repeat, sir.
Anybody use any graphic design applications apart from Photoshop?
Sometimes I use Procreate.
Procreate, that's
Canva.
another one. Canva, that's another one. Right. So we're going to be doing stuff that requires you to be creative. You don't have to use Photoshop and InDesign and whatever. As I said, this module is going to be pretty open because it's not about learning new software. It's about experimenting with things that's slightly on the outside of architecture, but applying them to architecture, right? So you're going to need some kind of graphic design application. You're going to need some kind of video editing application. I put hit film here because one year we use this. There's also Clipchamp, which is built into Windows, which I don't really recommend. It's a little bit. Anybody ever use Clipchamp yet? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a little basic. It maybe can use to do a thing, but you know, if you want to do, at least for the final project of this module, I think you need something a little bit more, you know. At the same time, does anybody here use the big bad what name, After Effects? Anybody uses the big bad After Effects in here? No. Premiere Pro? Anybody? Premiere Pro? Nobody?
I've used it before, but I don't remember a lot of the commands and stuff.
Okay. What's that? They're like Apple iMovie, I think. I've never really used it yet. Anybody use anything on the Apple side? What's it called again? Final Cut. Yeah. Anybody use Final Cut? No Apple fans in the house? Nope. Well,
Sir, Affinity.
Affinity. Okay, cool. I need to add those to the list. I mean, there are so many. But the point is that you're going to be doing some kind of video editing, right? Then I don't have it on this list here, but you will also need a smartphone. I know, laugh, right? Ha ha ha. What do you mean, sir? Everybody has a smartphone, which is exactly. So I don't even need to put it on the list because everybody has a smartphone, right? I remember like 8 years ago when I did this course, some people had bangers. So I had to say, no, it has to be a smartphone, not a bangers, right? So, but is it safe to assume that everybody has a smartphone in here?
Say some smartphone are classified as bangers now. So
Really?
yeah.
I need to be up to date with what's happening. Though I must say, traditionally, people that have iPhones tend to have a nicer life with this module. So I'm not saying you should go out and buy an iPhone to get an A in my module. I'm just saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that it just has some features that make life a little easier. Even if it's the old time iPhone, So anyway, with that said, the point I'm saying is that we're going to be doing a little bit of photography. We don't need an SLR camera or mirrorless camera. Anybody here messes with cameras? Anybody messes with photography?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Then you will have the most fun, right? So we're going to be doing a little bit of that further down in the module. So yeah, those are the things that we will need. We're going to be doing some amount of 3D stuff, but it's not anything you have to necessarily build or model. You're free to use whatever visualization program you want, right? Most people end up using Twinmotion and Lumion because, of course, it's super popular. I've heard persons request to use Unreal Engine. Anybody ever heard of Unreal Engine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Anybody excited about that?
Mm-hmm. More
Okay.
excited for Rhino. You can teach that.
But I mean, to what we're doing, I know Rhino can render. A, it can render. B, I've only used like 10 seconds of Rhino in my life. I've just never really had the opportunity. For me, I lie within the world of 3D Max. What's it called again? Blender, Unreal Engine, of course, Twinmotion, Lumion, all those stuff. Revit, ArchiCAD. That's my world and the Photoshop apps. So, but at this stage, you just have to pick one, right? In the past, there are persons who like to experiment. I would suggest you experiment if it is something that I know how to use, because I don't want you to go down a rabbit hole and get stuck, right? So if you want to experiment with non-traditional, and when I say non-traditional, I mean like, the typical Lumion or Twinmotion, D5-ish, which is just like Lumion and Twinmotion. But if you want to go in the world of like Blender and 3D Max and Unreal Engine, and I don't use Cinema 4D, so don't go there. So I can guide you with those that I said a while ago. But beyond that, you will be on your own. So I suggest that if you want to experiment, use one of those. All right. I think that's it. Oh, and of course, as usual, my good friend Mr. Neville Campbell, right, is always available if you're having any challenges with especially getting the applications or any challenges with your computer. I usually in every module recommend that you speak to him or at least one of the lab techs in the computer lab, right? I don't normally give out those numbers because, but Mr. Campbell gives me permission to give out his number. So, any kind of trouble, some of you probably know him already from DDM days. So, hopefully he can help you out if you need assistance. All right, that is it for the module, right? At least for the module overview. So, oh wait, and of course, As I always recommend, this is a 100% online course. Everybody, you need 2 screens. I'm hoping by now in your 4th year of architecture and, post-COVID, most people have more than one access to screens. So whether you want to use your computer screen or take away the TV screen in your home or some kind of tablet, you probably would definitely need 2 screens. In case we're doing demonstrations and you need to see the icons and stuff like that. All right. Okay, so that is pretty much the rundown. We know where we're coming from. We know where we're going. We're at the last step on the plank before we jump off of the ship, right? Into the world of the unknown. So hopefully I can arm you guys with some knowledge for doing that. All right, so our mission today is that we want to at least understand what we're getting into. I did promise some fun movies and video games, so we're going to go a little bit into the module to look at what we'll be doing. Let's see. Let me dive right into that because we want to talk about the schedule. Schedule is going to be super important. So in this module, we are going to do I use this one or do I use the fancy one? Yeah, hold on, I got something that's more fancy. Let me use the fancy one. All right. A minute to just put up my slideshow. Full screen. 92. Yeah. All right. What time is it? It's now 4. So we have like an hour left. I think we can get done in an hour. Oh, does this have audio? Well, I don't hear anything. I don't think it has audio. Okay. All right. We're going to be looking on 4 kind of topics or 4 different worlds outside of architecture, right? So it's still connected to architecture, but it's not directly in architecture. So for example, within the realm of architecture, we're talking about elevations and sections and details and that kind of stuff. We're going to be going a little bit broad. So we seek to explore new directions in the use of digital technology in the conception and communication of architecture, right? So new ways that we can express architecture apart from the regular run-of-the-mill floor plans and presentation stuff and renderings. That's basically what we want to look at. To go beyond the current everyday use. We also want to use the chance to check out cutting-edge technology, right? One of the big things that we want to do one of the new things that we want to do this semester is to look at AI, right? We definitely want to try and establish a premise or something tangible, some tangible way that we can implement AI in architecture. It's a very fast moving field. I am no expert, but I have used it more than a few times I used it within projects, within personal work, and I want to share that with you guys. So we'll do that during the module. All right. Anybody here excited to use AI? I mean, I know everybody kind of used it already, but right, officially, not no hide and use it and don't tell anybody that you use it. I mean, officially.
No,
right?
I mean in images and such like that.
Right. So we're going to explore some ways how we can use it in architecture. I hope we can find some time to do that because I'm telling you, time is so limited with this module. So if we think about the world of architecture, you can kind of think about the concept of this module is that you have these outer bands that support that is around architecture. So you have architecture, they have the tools used in architecture, then you have the tools used in the built environment. So for example, I don't know, surveying equipment. Like it's not exactly an architecture tool, but it's used within the bigger sphere of the built environment. You get what I'm saying? So we're going to go even further than that to look at things like that we call non-traditional architectural stuff. Like, so we're going to, the main category we're going to look on is going to be film, graphics, technology, and interactive media, right? So we are going to be, let me get my pen. We are going to be messing about in this area here. You know, this for 3 years of architecture, this is where you've been. But we're going to kind of branch out and start to look at what other industries has to offer for architecture. And I think that's what makes this module a bit special because, you know, we're going to explore, right? So we're going to look at graphics and we're going to look at graphics as it relates to different ways that we can communicate in architecture. We're going to be looking at architectural information graphics, right? Anybody ever heard of infographics? Some of us?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we're going to be looking at it, but through an architectural lens, right? So not the average kind of infographics. Primarily how we can use that, because infographics is like people go to 4-year universities to study infographics. It's its own world of a world. Just like how people go to school for 4 or 6 years to study architecture. It's its own world. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a little pricks over the fence of infographics and we're going to teeth something from them and we're going to apply it to architecture. At least experiment how we can do that. Right? We're going to look at how we can create diagrams and interesting stuff using infographics. We're also going to take a look over on film, right? So we're going to be looking at why is it that, I don't know, why is it that you know, a series is binge worthy, right? Who can give me an example of a binge-worthy series? Anybody? Anybody watch? What's your favorite series or show or something? Anybody? Brianna, what's your favorite show, Brianna? That you'll just watch for the whole weekend and not do any work. Is Brianna there? Brianna, not here? No, Brianna? No. Going once? Going twice? No, Brianna? Daniel. Nelson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, give me an example of something that you would binge watch.
Other than like a show.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I guess it have to be a series because you can't binge watch a movie. Well, if it's more than one part, you could binge watch it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Just give me what you call interesting.
I watched Dexter recently.
Okay, which one? Dexter. Ah, that's a good one. Old school. I mean, no, it was old school, but then build new episodes. That's how it go?
Yeah, I don't watch the new one.
Okay. But the point is that in the world of entertainment, and it has been around for a long time. So people have learned the ability. They even invent a word for it, binge watching, meaning they have ways to let you want to continue watching. So we're going to see if we can apply a little of that to how we present architecture. You get what I'm saying? Maybe not exactly. Maybe somebody won't be exactly excited to binge watch your presentation on your final project, but we can take a little bit from the movie industry and apply that to architecture to make it somewhat even more appealing, right? So we're going to look a little bit on that. Oops, hold on. I'll show this later. Yeah, I'll show that later in the course. Come to class and you'll see it. Now we're going to look a little bit on film and technology. So you just cannot separate photography from architecture. I guess as a matter of fact, I know students that has come out of this class and they have gone into full-time architectural photography, right? So we're going to look a little bit on understanding just basic, how the camera works, a little bit about views, about photography, and we're going to apply that to our renderings, right? So we're going to take a little peep over the fence in the world of photography. We're not going to dive too deep because just with the other modules that I mentioned, there are 4-year courses on this topic of photography, right? So we're not going to be going into all of that, but we're going to be taking a little bit of what we can apply to architecture, learn how we can capture views in the most ideal way, some stuff like that. And most importantly, we're going to be learning about storytelling. How can we tell a story? The big finale of this module is that you guys are going to be building your own story, which is going to be pretty cool. You're going to make a little short film, and we're going to look at storytelling in many ways. Storytelling in movies, storytelling in video games, storytelling in books. We're going to look at some of the things that a story has that we can take and try and apply to architecture. So those are like some of the main areas that we are going to look at. Let me see. Like this one. You know what? No, I'll show you that when you come to class. I'll show you that another time. Right. So those are some of the things that we're going to be looking on. We're going to be looking on camera views, camera angles. This is actually one of the assignments that we're going to look at. Some of these things are from the film industry. Like, how does a camera move and how do you use that to showcase your building? We're going to talk about foreground and background elements, all of these things that the film industry have used. Talk a little bit about making a story interesting in the world of architecture. And lastly, we're going to look at technology. This one changes rapidly every year. This year for technology, we're going to be looking at AI, and maybe we'll be able to go a little bit into VR. We have done VR in the past a couple times well, but every time we do something new. It takes a lot of coordination. I have access to multiple VR headsets. Well, multiple like 2, but it takes a little bit of coordination to get everything running. So, we might play that one by ear, but we're definitely going to be looking into AI and how we can use it. All right. All right. So that's what we'll be doing with technology. We're going to take a look on real-time CGI. Now, real-time has been around for a while. So for example, everybody here uses twin motion and all of that. But the industry is making a shift. It has been making a shift for the last, I don't know, a good 6 years. I've been teaching this module for about 10 years, 9 years, probably about 9 years, thereabout. No, wait. Yeah, somewhere in that region, the time escapes me. And it's just interesting that every year when I go on this topic, we talk more and more about interactive CG, right? And one of the big shifts that happened a couple months ago is with the new Twin Motion. Anybody ever mess with the Twin Motion 2025? It's in preview now. Anybody mess with it yet?
Not yet.
All right. Well, so far, I think Twin Motion is a little ahead in the race to interactive CG, meaning you know, we already made the shift to animation already. Animation is cheap now. 5 years ago, you know, we had to have render farms to render out 5 minutes of video. But nowadays, Twinmotion, Lumion, D5, Vantage, Enscape, bam, you have a 15-minute animation on your little laptop. And the industry has been moving away from animation and into interactive CG. So what exactly is that? Well, I'm hoping we can spend a little time on that. Time is limited, but we'll see what we can do. All right. And that is going into the realm of game engines, right? So I don't think we'll touch Unreal. I don't know yet, depending on how it go, but we're going to touch a little bit of um of interactive CG. All right. All right. So this is the numbers. This is how it's laid out. We're gonna do. We have a theory, a practical, and a final project. For theory, we have 2 assignments to do. These are going to be graphic related. So whatever graphic design software you want to use, it's up to you. For our practical, we're going to be messing with cameras and rendering and that kind of stuff. We're going to be looking at cinematography in architecture. So for this, you're going to be needing some kind of video editing application and the cell phone. And yeah, that's what we'll be doing. And then for your final project, it's a movie that you're going to be making. So whatever software and tools you use for this, you'll use it for your final project. It is a group work, and you get to choose your group members. As a matter of fact, you can even do it solo if you dare. It's going to be completely open, and we will discuss that when we get to that stage, right? So, any questions on what you've seen so far? Do you guys believe me that it's only fun games and movies that we'll be doing? Did I prove the point?
Yes, sir.
Look that way? When you said Jerome, do you believe me or you think I'm tricking you guys?
Sir, I believe.
You believe? All right, cool. You know, we're just going to do a little bit of work, but mainly fun stuff, right? All right, in terms of timeline, usually this is how it normally go. You normally go on study tour maybe in the 3rd week of the semester. We're going to try to get out assignment 1 and 2 before you go out. So immediately for our next class, which will be on Saturday, come armed with whatever graphic programs you normally use, right? We're going to be diving right in because our aim is that we want to get rid of assignment 1 and 2 before study tour. And I think study tour is, well, I know it's probably not the 3rd. What was the date? I think I got the 3rd, but it might be delayed. I'm not sure. So it's going to be somewhere in that 3rd week or 4th week. All right. If this works out this way, then that will be great because then we'll tackle assignment 3 and 4 when you come back. All right. So assignment 1 and 2, graphic work. Assignment 3 and 4 is 3D animation, you know, video editing work. And the final project is pretty much video editing, right? So the final project would normally you normally issue that around in week 9 or 10, and it is due week 13. All right. Any questions so far? Everybody understand your destiny? Wait a minute. This is a big class. 24? Okay. Everybody understand your destiny? Terrell, any questions?
None, sir. None, sir.
All right. All right. All right. Cool. All right. All right. Okay. We'll dive into these are just some examples of the works that we've done. We'll dive into them as we go through the semester. I'm not even going to spend any time on them. I'm just giving you like a quick preview. We will unveil the curtain on what we are going to do as we go through the semester, right? Okay, what else? Okay. All right. Now, on the class website, by the way, have everybody registered for the class site? I hope.
Not yet, sir.
Okay. Please do that ASAP. As per usual, I do a percentage a day for late work. So every day you don't submit, a percentage comes off. The website that is here, it will have the ability to submit the work, and the handouts are behind these gray curtains. I will unlock it as we go throughout the semester, so you're able to submit the work. Final project, you normally go into groups. You can kind of ignore this group thing here. This was the previous year. So we're going to update this with your groups this year, right? And yeah, that's the end of the module. By the time you quint, you'll be at the end. Okay, so in the spirit of keeping my promise, we'll get things kicked off with our first movie that I want to show you guys. Okay, pretty cool, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sir.
All right, let me put this thing on repeat here. All right. So,
So are you using that, sir?
I wish. No, this is from one of my favorite companies that still exists today. I mean, I've been using this for maybe more than 5 years, so it's a little dated, but nowadays if you go to Neoscape, they have changed their whole logo and everything, but they still do architectural visual. They do visualization and they specialize in architectural visualization. Basically, the communication of architecture through visualization, right? So it's not exactly, it's not the movie industry like you're doing advertisements. It's still more closer to the architectural side. They have a lot of persons in the architectural field. But what they do, they take a lot of things from the film industry and apply it to how they show architecture, right? And they're involved in a lot of stuff. I don't know if we'll get to the whole Unreal stuff. They started to use Unreal recently. But anyway, so that's what they do. Their website is, or you can just Google Nearscape. They're like one of the top visualization firms in the world. They have a couple branches. Now, the reason I show this is I think it's a good summary of what we're going for. And no, we're not going to be doing only visualization. Like, it's not a rendering course or module. But what it is about, if you look at this video, a lot of it is communicating. This is a show reel, by the way. So it's not showing one particular thing, it's showing multiple projects, right? But most of them are configured around the at least real estate business, right? A lot of it, they do a lot of stuff that has to do with communicating how a building works or how the building will affect the space, and it's centered around like excitement. Now, the reason that I show this movie is I'm wondering if you notice any consistent message throughout this show reel. Anybody?
So architecture and transportation.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they show a lot of transportation, they show a lot of architecture. Of course, that's kind of what they do. But in addition to the actual 3D stuff that you're looking at, the interiors and the exteriors and the walkthroughs and those kind of thing, there is a thread that kind of ties it together. Can anybody identify?
Like the
That
building
red
process.
rectangle.
What was that? Who got it first?
I was saying the building process because you're always showing things.
Okay, good. The building process. All right. So they show a little bit of process throughout the whole thing, which makes sense because a lot of work that they do is about solving how to visually communicate something, especially something that is complex. What was the other thing? Who was the other person?
The red rectangle.
The red rectangle. What about
It
it?
just red over.
What about it?
I mean, it's consistently there.
Ah, very true. Very true. And this is the whole point of some of the techniques that we're going to be looking at, right? So yes, they're showing their work, and their work entails a lot of things. Everything from how they composite a picture together, how something is built up, how something works, how it will make people feel. So yes, they're communicating all of that stuff, but also there is another story that's happening while they're telling that story. And that story is this little red bar. What does the red bar become at the end? Pause. Anybody?
Like a door.
It don't matter.
What was that? What does the
Your
red
brand.
their brand? So if you should tie everything together, what were they saying throughout the show reel? Anybody?
This is what their brand offers.
Exactly. So at the beginning, what is this red thing? Like, and they hint it in the different scenes. But at the same time, it's like it's not what their video is about. Obviously, their video is showing off multiple projects and things that they work. But throughout all the videos, what you notice happening, you're seeing this character, this red thing that's coming together, almost like it's building. And the truth is that maybe some persons don't notice it, and it doesn't matter because the key thing is not really showing this red thing. But the key thing is that they have integrated a kind of a sub story within the main story that they are telling. So the main story they're telling is about the work that they do. But they're also telling this other story that we are in all of these things, not just the 3D things, but also you notice that red block is also in like images, like real images. Like if you notice, there are some clips of their office. Can you see that? Like you can see where people are working, so it's like clips of them office and the red thing is there, and then it becomes their logo. So now when you look at this, you start to say, oh, that's interesting. Like it's not just showing a bunch of pictures. So it's the same thing like if we're showing our project and we say, this is the living room, this is the dining room, this is my concept for the courtyard. Da, 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 da. Like that is the main story. But in the world of entertainment, there's always a sub story. You never watched these shows before when it start off and you don't know what the hell happening. There is a clip in Tokyo, then there's another clip in Africa, and then there's another clip in wherever. And it just seems very confusing. But eventually, as the story develops, you kind of say, so the person in Tokyo have a cousin for the person in Africa, and blah, blah, blah. And the string kind of ties together. And when it ties together, it feels good, like you are entertained, right? So I show you this example because this is another part of something that is related to architecture. Maybe it's not directly architecture, but it has elements of what they use for film, techniques that they use for film. And I think here they have successfully brought it into the realm of architecture. They have brought a story as a sub story while they're watching the main story. And the main story is that this is my show reel, this is the work that I do. But apart from you watching the work that they're doing, there's another thing that's happening while you're doing that. So it's that ability to create that. Yeah, that's just an example. So those are some of the things that we're going to be looking on throughout the module, right? We're going to be looking on taking things from other industries and making architecture even more than just pure architecture, just this is my floor plan. No, we can put a story in it and we can make it really cool, right? All right, so that's the quick example that I wanted to show you guys because I think it kind of embodies a little bit of what we'll be doing. Now, we're not going to be starting with film, we're going to be starting with graphics. So come with your whatever graphics program you use, whatever tools you use, doesn't matter. We're going to be looking on digital note taking and going into the first assignment because for this module we're going to be using up technology, right? This is a future course, so we're going to be using up technology for everything that we do. So we're going to have like a little digital notebook and we're going to be using that when we're doing the other assignments and stuff like that. And we're going to move right into the first project, which is going to be centered around graphics. All right. All right. So that is enough of me blabbering. Did you guys understand this example? Any questions? Any questions? No questions? You understand? Where is it, Samaya? You got it? Samaya, sorry. You got it? Are you here, Samaya? Oh, yes, I see your message. Okay, cool. All right. So this is where we will leave you guys, right? That is it for our session today. On Saturday, 6 p.m., right? We're going to dive into some digital note taking. Let me see, what will you need? We're going to be using OneNote. Well, we will be using that as the example, but you can use whatever program you use. So you don't need to download that. It comes with Windows, I think. So everybody should be good. As for the graphic part, just put whatever graphic program you use. All right. Okay, guys. If there are no more questions, I think that is it for the introduction of the module, right? So I'm hoping that everybody kind of understands
Sir,
what we'll be doing. Yeah, go ahead.
can I talk to you privately, please?
Yeah, sure. So, all right. So what we'll do now is, if there are no more questions, then you guys are free to go. I will do a breakout room. Who was it that wanted to speak to me?
Shante.
Okay. All right. I'll do a breakout room for Shante. Everybody else, I will see you on Saturday. Please remember to register for the class site so that I can send you the invite for the Zoom chat. That's how we'll be texting each other. All right. So look out for that. So please remember to register for the class site. All right. Before you leave, guys, before you leave, just go to the website and click register, put your information in. All right, guys. See you on Saturday. Suan?
Right.
Okay, yeah, bye, Macken. Let me do a breakout room. All right, so let's start this. Breakout room. Come on. Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Oh, I've been having this problem with Photoshop. It's the first time I downloaded it, it was fine, but recently, it started saying that it's not a genuine product, and at first it was giving me a trial to download the genuine product, and but now it's like if I use it with Wi-Fi, it shuts off, it exits out. And my friend told me to like, oh, just open it without Wi-Fi and then you can turn it back on. But no, I can't do that at all. So I was wondering like if there's like a craft that you could give me or something.
Well, what I can give you is I can point you to Mr. Campbell. Remember earlier in the presentation?
Yes, sir.
You know him?
He's the IT guy that
Right.
shows up computer room.
No, that is another person you can ask.
Oh.
But let me give you a number. Hold on. Message. This message. Here we go. Yeah. Right. All right, so you can get in. All right, there you go. Give him a call on WhatsApp, right? Or straight, whichever one. And he will link you up with whatever you need to solve the problem. All right?
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. See you on Saturday.
Bye, sir.